Hey girls, hey. Hey boys, hey. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. This is Mama Beauties here. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and welcome, welcome, welcome. If you don't already know about my giveaway, go find the video on the giveaway and make sure you say that secret word in the comment section of that video. That way when we hit 1,500, you are sure to have an entry. I want to say thank you for the growth of my channel. I want to say thank you for the maturity of everyone. And I want to kind of get it back to the facts. And instead of all the controversy that everybody ends up bumping heads over. So I went to the first 15 minutes of Nichol Kessinger's second interview, you guys, and it brought me back to all that drama. And I did not notice it when I heard this interview the first time. I actually was not able to pick this out of this until after I had heard all this information about this secret organization that NK was a part of. So once I listened to this, I had that already in my mind as pre-disclosed information. And so I was listening very attentively to see if I could pick up on anything. And it's the first 15 minutes of this phone call, you guys, that NK talks about Chris fading in and out for 15 to 10 seconds is what she says in the first 15 minutes of the interview. I do not have any commentary on the last 45 minutes of the interview yet, because this first 15 minutes had me write so much information that I knew that I needed to share this first before we even went further on that interview. Hi, Chronic Live. Hi, Terry J. Hi, Tracy, Gianna, Remy. Hi, everyone. If I missed you, I'm sorry. We are just going to jump right in. You guys are welcome to talk to each other in the chat, but I am going to focus on my notes and what I wrote down, and then feel free to ask your question more than once. If for some reason I don't direct it or answer it, you are more than welcome to blow the chat up with your question. So, yes, Sarah Smiles, I bet you it is, because it's obvious. This is obvious, you guys. Now that you know it, you will hear it too. So, on August 21st of 2018, Nichol Kessinger received her second phone interview. It was conducted by Kevin Kobach, and he says this at the beginning of the recording. He records the phone call. He says what he's doing. He says he's getting ready to call Nichol Kessinger, and she says hello. The agent says, "Hi, it's Kevin." And NK says, "Hi, Kevin." But she does not sound as enthused and pumped and excited as she has always sounded in all of her other interviews. She definitely has a different tone when she says, "Hi, Kevin." Okay, so listen for that. The agent says, "How are you?" And NK says, "I'm okay." And the agent says, "All right, I'm recording," and basically lets her know that it's being recorded. And she says, "Okay." And the agent wants her to introduce herself on the recording, and then they would get started. And NK says, "Okay, it's Nichol Lee Kessinger." The agent says to state your birthday, and she says it's July 3rd of 1988. And then the agent says, "You go by Nikki, correct?" And NK says, "Yes, sir." And this is the first time I have ever heard her use manners when talking to Kevin. Never before have I heard her respond to him with a "yes, sir." If anyone else has, correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, I felt like this was the first time that she had used, a respectful demeanor, as far as this man is in higher power and has the control of destroying my life. So, but she destroyed it herself. But I was just saying the way that she possibly could be thinking. But the agent says, "All righty, you text me this in the morning, and we had a brief conversation regarding new information that you remember, reflecting on what has been going on with this case." That's what the agent says to NK. And the agent asked her to start with that And did she write these things down? And NK responds and says she did, but they are kind of out of order because she wrote them as they came into her head. The agent says, sure. NK says, we will go over them in order that I wrote them down to let him know that they were out of order again. The agent says, that's fine. NK says, so I was thinking about this whole, what is the name of the stuff she sold for Lavelle? And she was asking about Thrive, and the agent says Thrive. But I find it hard to believe that she knew the company's name was Lavelle, but didn't know it was Thrive, because I used to sell Thrive, and a lot of people called the company Thrive. You would know Thrive before you knew it was sold by Lavelle. So a lot of people thought Thrive was sold by Thrive. And so I find this very hard to believe that she's asking the agent what it was that Shanann sold, but she did know the company of the name. And she also goes into here in a second that she looked it up on the website, but yet did not know what it was called. Well, how did you look it up on the website if you didn't know what it was called? But let's continue. The agent says Thrive, and she acts like she did not hear him and says, I'm sorry. And he says Thrive again. NK says Thrive, that's right. So she started thinking about this whole Thrive thing, is what she tells him, because she remembered that her and the detective spoke at the end of last week. She remembered that her and Kevin had spoke at the end of last week, and he was asking her what she thought of Thrive, and she had made it clear to Agent Kevin that she just didn't understand it. She tells him that the reason she had a hard time understanding it was because I didn't understand how people who were living sedentary lifestyles with poor diets were losing so much weight. And so I had to look up what sedentary meant. And so when I looked it up, because she told the agent she didn't understand how people who were living sedentary lifestyles and having poor diets were losing so much weight. So it seemed to me like she was against Lavelle. I could tell by this conversation that she was having that she was against this Lavelle movement very early on. And possibly that's how she met Shanann, coming to one of Shanann's parties for Thrive. Maybe Shanann offered Thrive for her, and she sought out her husband because of it as early as a year before this happened. But that's my personal opinion. But the definition of sedentary lifestyle is a lifestyle involving little or no physical activity. The person is often sitting or lying down while they're reading, or lying down while they're socializing, or they always watch TV lying down. They play their games or video games lying down, or they are on the phone or a computer for much of the day. And it seems like she was like underhandedly jabbing Shanann again, because we know that Shanann did not work. She stayed at home, and she did work. She worked her butt off, but she didn't work a corporate job. And so it seemed like that she was saying this about Shanann because Shanann was one of those thrivers that she's saying that she didn't know how they were losing weight, and that's the way she felt about it. Was she jealous that Thrive gave Shanann the ability to not work out? And also, we all know she had to be jealous that Shanann was naturally beautiful too, and she didn't have to do a lot of going to the gym to maintain that. So she says that she didn't understand how people were living the sedentary lifestyles and poor diets, were losing so much weight on this program, and Chris was never able to tell her what was in it. She said he always, when they first met, he was like, you should try this stuff. You should try this stuff. And I never wanted to. I was uncomfortable with it because I did not know what was in it, and went to the website. So whose website did she go to? And you know, you have to go to a link, a Lavelle link. So did she go to Shanann's website, or did she just go to Thrive's main website? So it makes you wonder whose website she went to check out to find out what the ingredients were. And still, she said it did not completely help her understand it, that she just stayed away from it. And that she not only that, she said, I mean, only things he pretty much told me was it gave you energy and it was a weight loss supplement. And she says, I'm not trying to lose any weight. I don't need that. And I didn't feel like I needed energy either. I never pushed it again. Or she said he never pushed it again. And I never, like, he always wore the Thrive patches and I never questioned it. I was like, it was like what he did. But one thing that she does remember, and she told the agent that he told her when, okay, this is what she said. She said, but one thing she does remember is that he told her when first introducing her to Thrive was that it was one patch a day. And when he hung out with me, he always wore two. And I wanted to explain this to you guys. When they first met, which was probably a year in the beginning, there was only one, the type of Thrive that you wore one patch. But sometime in 2018, I do believe the Duo was released, and it was the weight loss patch. And it was two patches. It was really just one patch, but they made it look like a puzzle piece so you could separate the two and put one on one side of your body and the other on the other side. So she's saying that he wore multiple patches the whole time, but she doesn't know that because Duo had came out that year that he killed Shanann, and it was being promoted by Thrive as a new product. And so a lot of people that only knew the steps of the old Thrive would not know that the new Thrive Duo was two patches and it was a weight loss supplement. And she doesn't know if he was doubling up, she said. Now, the agent says, do you remember where he wore them? And she said on her left tricep, on his left tricep bicep area. And sometimes he would wear another one on the right side, the same spot on his lower back. And then the agent said, okay. And she goes, but he always had two. And I remember thinking, like, I thought you only needed one, but never asked because I never wanted to be involved in that program. She knows there's a pill and a daily shake. It's 3 to 4 items in the routine. She said you're supposed to take. If he was doubling up on those or other items, she did not know. And the agent asked if she knows if Chris was following the routine after that. She said, as far as I know, he was following it. And why he lost so much weight was all because of Thrive. She said that until he got stagnant a few months ago with weight loss, so he started working out again and eating healthy as well because he realized he had plateaued and wanted to continue fitness. He realized healthy diet and exercise was what he needed right now. So that was the avenue he was starting to go down. And he had been going down by the time I met him. So she wanted to make sure to cover her butt right there and said, but I found this out that he was doing all of this before I met him, because she is slipping up talking about this point in Chris's life that he decided to start working out and eating healthy was 2 months ago. But she said that this relationship only started 6 weeks ago. So how would she know that he decided to do that 2 months ago unless she was there when he decided to do that, if she was already seeing him, you see? So, but that's not the juicy slip up. But he was still doing Thrive on top of all of that, she says. She thinks he was doubling up because he thought it had plateaued, and it comes to her attention because of his weight loss, which was 13 pounds in 5 weeks. She can give dates of when he lost this weight. She said it was between July 4th and August 11th. And that she remembers, but 13 pounds in 5 weeks is not a lot of weight loss, you guys. I don't know about you guys, but 13 pounds I can lose in 2 days. and I can gain 13 pounds in 2 days. I can literally gain and lose 5 pounds in 1 day. That's how bad my weight fluctuates. So I don't understand why she's making such a big deal about him losing 13 pounds in 5 weeks unless she really is part of that strange whatever you want to call it, that they are really into macros and weight and all that craziness. So she says that July 4th was the day that she went to his house and she sat down with him and asked him, how much do you weigh? He asked her to look at his macros to see how much people Chris's size usually eat of protein and all of that. And he asked NK to like glance at it. That's why she went over there, she says. So then the agent says to Shanann's in Chris's house, and NK says, yes, the one I told you I went, the one I told you about going there on the 4th. And that was why I went there, to sit down with him the morning of the 4th and just discuss his goals. And again, I'm not a fitness trainer, so he already had an idea in his mind, but he wanted her to glance at it and tell him what she thought. Since she pays attention to those things. The agent said the 4th was the first time you went, and the 14th was the second and final time, right, that you have been to his house. And NK responds, I'll have to look it up. It was a Saturday, and I'll have to look it up. It was either the Saturday, and then she pauses. It's like she is trying to pause to see if the agent is going to bring up another day that he thinks she's there. It's like she doesn't want to give him information that he might not already have. So she's saying she has to look at a calendar. She's taking her time because she wants to give him that window to be like, it was this day, because he knows, because she was seen on surveillance. But they don't know. They only know that she told them that she went there on the 4th and 14th, but they really don't know how many times she was actually there. And so then she says, hold on, let me pull out a calendar. And she stalls some more. And she goes, I really just want to like, that's July, so the 4th, and that weekend would be I think, and I will have to double check this, but I'm pretty sure, I know for a fact that I was at his house on July 4th, and I think the second time I went to his house was Saturday the 14th. So she gave him all that time, and she could have just said she was certain at the end of it that it was Saturday the 14th, but she was stalling and stalling and stalling before she said that. So that caused me pause. And then the agent said, only 2 times, right? And NK says, yeah, like I did not want to go back after that second time I was there. I was like, I don't want to be at this house. Like, if you want to hang out, come to my house. Those were her exact words. So yeah, the 14th was the last time I was there. She reiterates it again. And the agent says, okay, let me get a drink of water because the part that I'm talking about is coming up. I can't wait to dissect the other 15 minutes. So the agent says, okay, and NK goes, but back to this. So the Thrive thing, because she didn't want to talk anymore about how many times she had been at that house. So she said, but back to this, the Thrive thing. So I was like kind of concerned he was losing so much weight, but I also wasn't, because he was kind of fine-tuning his diet. It wasn't like a severe weight loss, but it was kind of fast. She wondered if he wasn't getting enough calories or what was going on, and could not figure it out by looking at what he was eating. Healthy proteins and vegetables and a fair amount of food. He was eating a fair amount of food, so how is he losing so much weight? Then she thought the other day, oh my God, it was because he was doubling up on the Thrive and eating really healthy. So this just came to her the other day, which this is the 21st. So it would have had to be sometime a week or 2 after the murders. This just randomly came to her. Oh my God, it was because he was doubling up on the Thrive. And so she reached out to the agent, and this was her important information. And so the agent said, did you see a change in him personally during that weight loss time, like his personality. And she says just weight loss. But one thing she wanted to point out to them was that he was always this way. I just want to state that right now. This was not something that started at any point, she says. But from the first time they first started hanging out, he always had a ridiculous amount of energy. It wasn't that he was high strung, she said, and bouncing off the walls, but that he could stay up like he didn't need sleep. And he was always that way. Like when they would hang out, oh my God, I would try to get him to go to bed at like 10 p.m. every night. I'm like, if you're going to stay here, you have to go to bed at like 10 p.m. because I have to get up and go to work in the morning, and so do you. So I wonder what she tried to do to get him to go to bed at 10 p.m. every night. She said she tried everything to try to get him to go to bed at 10 p.m. at night, but I'm still not at the part where she slipped up. She says he would keep her up every night, and usually she would say, but it kind of fluctuated. But typically she would go to bed and then she goes, well, when he stayed at her house. So did that leave it open to different times when she was at his house? But anyway, she goes somewhere between 11 and midnight every night. And it would bug her because she was so tired. And the agent says, what time did you wake up? And she says it depends on what she had going on at work and that day, but usually between 4:30 and 5. And it is an accurate assumption of when she was supposed to get up. So she says that between 4:30 and 5 is probably an accurate assumption of when she was supposed to get up for work. So she would go to work all day, then go home and nap. And her naps varied in times. It would be a half an hour and a half, whatever her body needed. And then she would get up and go to the gym. And then Chris would come over, and after he would keep her up. And she said that she thought his body wanted to sleep, but his mind could not sleep. And the reason she says that is because sometimes she would see him like he would keep her up, and she would be like, all right, let's watch a movie if you want to hang out. And so they would be up and she would see him doze off and then like wake right back up and then doze off and wake right back up. And there was a few times, she says, and then she repeats herself. She says, there was a few times that they were having conversations and he would be talking to me. Oh no, this was really weird. I gotta mimic it exactly how she said it. She goes, and there was a few times that we were having conversations and he would be talking to me. Kevin, he would like fall asleep mid-sentence and wake up and snap out of it 5 or 10 seconds later and keep talking where he left off. And I promise you, if you go back to her telling Kevin these words right before she says it, she literally says he would be talking to me, Kevin. That's what she said. It was like this high pitch, like almost singing, practicing voice. You know, when you train your voice to sing, she goes, oh, Kevin, to him. He would like fall asleep mid-sentence and wake up, like snap out of it for 5 or 10 seconds later and keep talking right where he left off. And the agent said, that's weird. Let me see. Okay, yes, I'm getting ready to come on it. So NK goes, yeah, that's always blew my mind. I was like, this guy must really like me if he's avoiding sleep to spend time with me. And it was like, I couldn't do it. I napped every day I hung out with him. Honestly, it was like he was on speed. That's what she says. And then the agent goes, so Thrive and his attraction to you and you being fit kind of motivated him, and you were trying to help him get in better shape. And she goes, well, he was already in good shape and taking care of his health and diet and going to the gym. I just think he was like, hey, since you're already in this. And then she says, I live a healthy lifestyle. Would you be willing to give me some input and maybe I can fine tune it? He told her, since you're already in this, and once those words came out of her mouth, in this, she switched it up and said, live this lifestyle, as if she didn't mean, since you're already in this. She meant to say, since you already live this lifestyle. Let me read it again. So the agent said to NK, so Thrive and his attraction to you and you being fit kind of motivated him. You were trying to help him get into better shape. And NK said, well, he was already in good shape and taking care of his health and his diet and going to the gym. I just think he was like, hey, since you're already in this. And then she says, live a healthy lifestyle. Would you be willing to give me some input and maybe I can fine tune it? Is that what you were talking about, Sarah? That she said that Chris told her, since you're already in this, and then she realized what she just said to the agent, and she even says, changed it to the healthy lifestyle. She says, live a healthy lifestyle. After she said that Chris told her, since you're already in this, then she got those words out of her mouth and no sooner turned around and said, live a healthy lifestyle. And she even said, again, would you be willing to give me some input and maybe I can fine tune it? Can you guys believe that? Can you believe that? I cannot believe that she said that she was in it. And it is right after. You guys can go back and find it yourself. If you think that I'm reaching or overanalyzing, then go back and listen to it yourself and see the vibe you get, because you'll have tone with it. But as soon as the agent says, so Thrive and his attraction to you and the fact that you were already fit kind of motivated him. You were trying to help him get in better shape. And she goes, well, he was already in good shape and taking care of his health and diet and going to the gym. I just think he was like, hey, since you're already in this, and you could hear her stumble. You can hear her go, live a healthy lifestyle. Would you be willing to give me some input and maybe I can fine tune it? So you guys just let me know what you think and we will continue on with the interview. And she goes, no. The agent goes, that was some of the motivation for him, or maybe staying awake. That was some of the motivation for him to stay awake long hours and using multiple patches of Thrive to keep to try to impress you, for lack of better terms. And she immediately says, no, that was not it. No, I think it was the Thrive and his body wanted to sleep. I think he legitimately was trying to lose weight. And I think that was keeping him up, because at the end of the day, I really wanted to sleep. And he was just like really restless and did not seem like he wanted to. But he always seemed really respectful of my wishes. So you would think that he would be on board with that. But it was almost like he could not calm his brain. You know, he wasn't acting like high energy. He just would sleep almost restless, where it was like, I can't turn off at the end of the night, and he would stay up with me. NK admits that he never said that, but that was the impression that she got. And she said the double Thrive patches, maybe, but she does not think he was trying to impress her. She says that over and over. She wants to make sure that nobody thinks that his weight loss was because of her. She said she thinks Chris thought maybe double dipping on the Thrive since his weight had already plateaued and he wanted to lose more weight. She does not think that the weight loss was Nikki motivated. That's what she said. So she said this 4 times, that she does not think that the Thrive was Nikki motivated. So honestly, I think maybe it was, or that the weight loss was Nikki motivated. She said she does not think the weight loss was Nikki motivated. And she's speaking about herself, calling herself Nikki. She says that since he was already doing the Thrive thing and fitness prior to her being in his life, and she does not know if Chris was double patching before she met him, but he was definitely double patching the whole time that she knew him. And she says that she don't know, she never asked, and she found it very interesting, so wanted to bring that up. That's why she told him that she found it very interesting that he couldn't sleep at night and he couldn't turn his brain off and he was restless at night. Yeah, it was because all of the dark portals that were opened up. So, or among many other reasons. It could be drug use. It could be he could have been on, she's the one that accused him of being on speed, so maybe she was giving him a tidbit of information about him. Maybe he was on speed. Who knows? All right, I'm going to answer a few questions and then I'm going to get back to the next 15 minutes of that phone call so I can come back and share that with you guys in a little bit. Don't worry, I'm going to go and let you guys rewatch it. It's 30-minute live. And I will be back, you guys, in a little while with the next 15 minutes. Tell me what you think. And if you don't agree with me, that's fine. I mean, I can be persuaded too. I just thought it was very interesting that NK said that Chris wanted her to look at all his food that he was eating and his fitness app and all of his information about his macros and all of that because she was already in, and then she stumbles on that her words. She go and changes it to that lifestyle. And she goes, I promise you, go back and listen to it right after the agent asked her if Chris was the reason, the motivation for his weight loss. But thank you so much, you guys, for all of your love and support. And I will see you in a little bit for the second part of this interview. Bye.